Like, comment, and subscribe to J New Orleans.
Welcome for another episode. This is episode 7. I just thought about something like for social media and YouTube and all of that other stuff. People may very well be waiting on me to ask for the support, like as far as the like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. And that's never going to happen because I do not want to feel like I owe these people these videos or anything like that. So let it be organic, and that's how it's gonna go down over here. So anybody who does it, it's always appreciation here because the topics I'm discussing are very offensive. So I apologize to everyone who has been offended and who will be offended, but there is literally no way around reality when it comes to like removing the smoke and mirrors that's been painted for all of us. It's gonna step on toes because it goes against things we believed in. It goes against people we believed who told us those things. It goes against a lot of stuff. So it's going to be difficult. And all I can say is just if it becomes too unbearable, just leave. Like, don't be one of those people in the comment section because I'm as of right now, I'm not going to be reading comments because again, this is not me here for y'all attention. This is me bringing awareness to everything that I'm discussing because these are things that at some point they were holding me back in life. And as I grew past these things, I tried to assist people who was in my life at the time to grow past those things as well. And I have discovered that we do not have the power to edit someone else's journey unless we are their caregiver and responsible and they're a dependent of ours in some way, shape, or form. Like, other than that, as far as full blown adults, we cannot do stuff no matter what we feel is right or what we feel the other person would benefit from if they follow what we told them to do. It don't work that way. And it actually is a waste of energy, it's a waste of time, and all it does is build resentment between you and whoever you hope and change. The best thing that we can do is continue to grow ourselves. Even but the dark side of growth is that it's going to have moments where you're alone. And not to get too far off topic because all of this stuff kind of answers itself when I continue these discussions. But on this video now, it's making a connection. Well, it's not even making a connection. It's two separate subjects, two birds with one YouTube video. Is that the maturity gap why so many adults never develop emotional discipline? And then also I wanted to bring awareness to the rise in dating scams and online dating scams. And there is a connection there, but it's not like the connection is the people who do the scamming usually prey on the people emotions. So that's the dark side of being emotionally immature. It's not just the fact that you have difficulty absorbing information or maneuvering through life or handling stress, is that there are people who watch and know the different emotional archetypes you fit into and use that to benefit from you giving up money or your loneliness. Like, people weaponize your weaknesses against you. That's why all of the everything that has an addiction is an industry that makes a lot of money. When you think about substance addiction, all of those industries that people have addictions connected to, somebody's making money off that. Shopping addiction, you see how a lot of people are shopping for different reasons, but it benefits the same people. Or when it comes to food addiction or like going out or all of that, like, people benefit from our vulnerabilities. And the only way that the people who care to change or grow from it, because everyone is not going to grasp this information. This is not Captain Planet where one day everyone is going to come outside with their hands raised to the sky and then we just going to all ascend. Like, that's not going to happen. at all. Like realistically, it's not. And honestly, it's beautiful if you hope that happen. I honestly think that we all should have the highest of hopes. But realistically, like what you working with is what's in front of you. Like all of this imaginary stuff that we get caught up in, and with social media, so many of us have gotten into all of these hypothetical conversations about who brings stuff to the table, or if you had $1 million and if your mama was twerking for $1, what would you do? Or if you had to run over your daddy big toe for to be a billionaire. Like we so overwhelmed with these types of conversations, there's not really much left for what really is going on. Like when you look at everything that bothers us in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our households, the average response is to get online and complain about it. And then for people who do come online with the intention of resolving the issue, they get roasted into a new millennium about the fact that they even are unable to resolve the issue themselves, even though it's probably a common issue that most people experience, and even some of the people commenting. But nevertheless, that was a freestyle, 6 minute freestyle, and we just gonna get into it. So starting with the maturity thing, the maturity gap. Why many adults struggle with emotional discipline? I really like the slides. I made buku slides, but then when I was editing them to not have each of them look exactly the same, because for me, I don't like redundancy. I thought about it. A voice in my head was just like one view. And I'm thinking, okay, even though this is a hobby, I'm getting in some deep territory with the amount of effort I'm putting in this stuff. Like the message, in my opinion, matters more than the visuals because I'm not selling anything. Like it's like the spirit of the content creators past, it was trying to rise up, because this channel, this is not the first iteration of this channel. Like this is like the third life. And in every generation, people talk about success, relationships, and happiness, but few people talk about the psychological foundation required to navigate adulthood well. But you know what? It's not even that people don't talk about it like it's a secret. If you really look at everything that we struggle with individually and as a society, majority of these things people have no experience on the other side of it. Like majority people I've witnessed with certain mindsets, the people in their family died within that life. Like they died struggling. They died in the projects. They died in drama. They died miserable. They died with everybody in the family having untreated mental illness and people just feeling like it's a spirit and all of this other weird stuff that people do to pacify obvious issues. And maturity is often mistaken for age. Like we treat it like food at the store. Like if you a drinker, you would want aged wine versus younger wine. Or, bananas gotta it take time for them to ripen up. But when it comes to people, if we not doing the actual work, is nothing is gonna happen. If if we did everything we do today, every single day for the rest of our life, like that just would be it. Nothing is gonna magically change. It's not like a tree where one day it's a sprout and then a few years you come back and there's potholes on the street because the oak tree that messed the street up. Yet history repeatedly shows that time alone does not create wisdom automatically. Some people grow older, others grow wiser, and you even see it in kids. There are some children that are beyond their years with intelligence and with having morals and just, being more mature when it comes to their response to issues, having to be emotional regulators for their parents. Psychologists have long understood that maturity is not a milestone we automatically reach. It is a discipline, one built through self awareness, emotional regulation, responsibility, and the courage to examine our own behavior. And in my experience, people who grew up in traumatic households, some of them have old souls because they had to. They had to have the self awareness because their parents didn't. They had to have the emotional regulation because their caregivers didn't. They had to be responsible because you dealing with living in a household where if you didn't remind whoever is the caregiver to pay the light bill, y'all was gonna be without lights, or reminding them that rent about to be due, or just different things like that. Like, it's a lot of people had to endure a lot, and some people endured those same things and their trauma response just was different. It's kind of like the X-Men. All of the different people got exposed to the X gene, but you see everybody display it differently, and trauma is very similar in that aspect. Many adults have access to more information than any other generation, but access to information does not guarantee self-understanding. Now that one, that is true, and I am a previous offender of that same rhetoric about the fact that we have the whole world in our hands and we have all of this knowledge in our hands. But that was before I discovered reality. The reality of it all is that we are creatures of habit. First of all, a lot of us have lives that are carved by the people that are around us, whether we want to admit it or not. We think that if you're not copying explicit things a person does, that they're not influencing you. But us as humans, we subtly influence each other, whether we want to or not. Now, the more aware you are, you're able to pick up those changes attempting to happen within yourself, and you can refuse it. Or if you someone like me who personality is just magnetic, people will pick up your stuff. Like, people around me too long start using my phrases and my catchphrases and stuff like that, which is perfectly fine, because if it was an issue, I would have trademarked it. But it's all, it's cool, because every now and then I sample a little something from somewhere that people don't know where I sampled it from. So I guess we all give and take. But access to information does not guarantee self-understanding. And also, too, we live in distracted lives. Like, some people have one trauma that may have happened 10, 20, 30 years ago. And that one trauma put them on an emotional roller coaster that they still have not left. So ever since that one trauma, they've endured additional traumas, but that's the main cast member. If trauma had a cast lineup, the initial trauma would be the lead cast member that kind of is the catalyst for all of the future traumas. And the person is still in fight or flight mode. So they always seeking comfort. And whenever things are new or foreign or aggressive, the defense system goes up, because you're still in fight or flight. You constantly scanning for a threat. If y'all have pets, you know what I'm talking about. So until you never get a chance to fully get out of fight or flight, and now with we have all of this knowledge on the internet, but we also have so many distractions. Dear John Deere, um, let us pray. Let us, like, ahead of let us, and then pray for the lettuce. All of that. Like, we have so much that keeps people distracted. And you have psychologists that work with advertisers. So these are not regular ads that somebody who sat next to you in class had to come up with in order to win, a free cookie from the lunch lady. These are people who look at the same behaviors a doctor would look at diagnosing you with something. These people are doing the inverse. Like, so, and that's where the whole good or evil thing kind of, it kind of get a little wavy, because it's like, what is good and what is evil? Because for people, we justify a lot of things as good, and that's going into something else, baby. I don't know what we gonna block that off, stick to this. But yet in modern society, let's see. In fact, emotional reactivity, blame culture, impulsive communication, and conflict avoidance have become increasingly common patterns. Oh, wait, let me run that bite. Many adults have access to more information than any previous generation, but access to information does not guarantee self-understanding. In fact, emotional reactivity, blame culture, impulsive communication, and conflict avoidance have become increasingly common patterns. This creates what we call a maturity gap, a gap between what adulthood requires and the psychological skills many people have actually developed. The purpose of this video is not to criticize people, but that's why I apologized in the beginning, because it's always going to feel like criticism. When we get in these types of topics, we are playing with fire in a forest, like in the middle of a forest during a very dry season. We're playing with fire because in order for these things to hit home, they have to have examples that are realistic to the listener. And in that moment, a lot of people still have not managed shame. And I'm always going to mention shame in every video because shame is the final boss that you have to defeat in order to have some type of normalcy in your life, to realize that it's not all good, it's not all bad. Like all of the good, bad, good, evil, all of that stuff is really is what we make it, because you can look at something somebody else experiencing and literally think, oh, that's nothing. I can, I can run through that in a day or in a minute, or looking at the issues your coworker complain about, or, and people could turn around and do the same thing to us. So that's what I mean is really perspective. Like a person who don't have a vehicle and having to walk 5 miles a day, that might be the highlight of their day because they get to see all of the birds and the nature and the different things and smell the fresh air. But to someone who lives in a city like Houston or, New York, I don't know, Miami, 5 mile walk every day is hell on wheels. So it really is a perspective thing. And that's a part of us being closed-minded. We be so miserable for so long. First of all, we too afraid to admit we miserable. So we go above and beyond externally with materialistic things to not appear miserable. The more miserable, the more debt we in to not look miserable. And it's like the realizing, accepting, and growth. That's all we can do in these situations, because people always say what our parents didn't do or what school didn't teach us. If you really believe that, why are you carrying the shame? Why are you carrying the shame? Like, some of our parents were whores. We don't carry the shame of that. So why are we carrying the shame of them not teaching us something if it's true? Because it might be true for some people, and that's another thing. In our reality, we have liars among us. Everyone who's telling stories is not being honest. Like, and it's not up to us to think everyone is a liar. It's up to us to really just become more aware of people, because you will see it. Like, you literally, once you become aware of behavioral patterns, it's gonna feel like you watching a movie you never seen before, and a voice in your head is just telling you everything the person about to say before they say it, and you get spooked. So just imagine you go see a movie you never ever seen in your life, never heard of. You go on Netflix right now, pick the most random movie, and your brain is just telling you everything that's gonna happen. That's what happens when you pick up on behavioral patterns, because so many people are unconsciously moving through life being stereotypes. Like, that's how, like, super predators be knowing they prey, because they know they could look like they so skilled they could tell, oh, this person don't have a figure at home, or this person single, or this person this person that. Oh, he drive big trucks. He have a Napoleon complex. Like, people pick up. It's very, and it's not just one thing. You look at a person and know all of those things. It's connections. It's like puzzle pieces. Like, if you take a piece of a puzzle and say, oh, this look like a envelope, but then as you get more and more pieces of the puzzle, oh, this is a card. Well, I don't. This is gonna be foreign anyway to most people, but I tried to tell y'all. Y'all may not realize this till years later. Like, literally everything is focused on our emotions, our attention, and our reaction to things, and whether what we believe. If we believe everything is all bad, we're literally gonna operate like if everything is all bad, which makes things all bad, like self-fulfilling prophecy. But many adults, let's see, let me switch slides. What is maturity? I just had the other slide up. There we go. A gap between what adulthood requires and the psychological skills many people have actually developed. The purpose, I read that already. What psychology says about maturity. In psychology, maturity is closely connected to three traits: self awareness, emotional regulation, and executive functioning. Emotional intelligence researcher Daniel Goleman explains that mature individuals can recognize their emotions, regulate them, and respond intentionally instead of impulsively. Neuroscience research also shows that the prefrontal cortex, responsible for impulse control and long term decision making, fully develops around age 25. I think I have a slide that says that. There we go. Brain immaturity. But also, but brain development alone does not guarantee maturity. It only creates the capacity for it. Maturity must be practiced. That's another realization I had, is that pretty much anything we could think of, skills, things that we admire in other people, it's learned behaviors. Like they had different experiences that allowed them to manifest whatever that was, not even manifest, but develop and nurture that skill. So instead of like when, I'll say 15 years ago, when I looked at a person with a good credit score and said, "Oh, I wish my credit score was that good," like as if they opened a cereal box and that's where it came from. It literally was just them knowing how like everything has a manual. Credit operates a certain way, a car operates a certain way, everything operates a certain way. So it's often that we see that we are not aware of how something works, but it's rare that we actually snap out of being an autopilot and just the rush of life and the peer pressure of people around us who doing bad and imposing the negativity on us, or some of us who are so overachievers to where we actually withhold achievements because we start to feel like we're leaving people behind. Which, the sad part about being a human, we all benefit from community, but we still have our own journey. Like a lot of us have this thing to where we think that we can take people along for every moment of our life just because we love them, and it does not work that way at all. Like, especially if you are a person who have a different purpose for yourself based off of whatever your inner person want, because they make purpose seem so magical. Like if you got to go to a magical fountain in Brazil to know what your purpose is. No, literally, that's what shadow work is. We already decided what our purpose was as children, but due to the requirements of having to maintain a certain standard with parents, society, religion, school, relationships, we got lost in translation. So really all people be doing is removing all of the noise and wounds of life and getting back in touch with who they were. That's all that is. But I mean, yeah, we can make it sound better, and I'll give y'all about 50 novels to tell you how to do it. And one of the most visible communication gaps is communication. Many conversations remain stuck at surface level interaction. When discussions become deeper or emotionally challenging, people often respond with defensiveness, anger, or avoidance. Psychologists refer to this as emotional reactivity, when emotion overrides reasoning. Emotional mature individuals learn to pause before responding. That pause allows reflection to replace reaction. Baby, shout out to the people who, of all ages, all ethnicities, all everything, everybody who texts what you doing all of the time, good morning, how are you, and really will consistently text a person that every single day with with nothing behind it. Like, what are we doing? Like, who are you? Are you a pen pal? Are you a lost uncle? Are you like what? Why? do you see a person that y'all be claiming y'all so proud of? You see all of these things that a person has that work had to be done for them to have it, and then you wonder why that same person is not responding to what you doing 12 times every single day, or even for people who get bored and just randomly pick up the phone and call people and have nothing to talk about. And it's like the person, you can see that the person or hear the person is busy. They prioritizing you because you whoever you order them, but you just calling them in vain. Like that's kind of like calling 911 or calling the ambulance and asking them what you doing. Like it's very strange, but it's super common now. And I noticed that all of those people, when you're talking to them, everything is emotion based. Like everything. Like you can literally say, "Hey, I'm so sorry, I'm not gonna be able to text you today." You got an attitude. Like everything is super. So it's like when you're speaking logically, they're speaking emotionally. And a lot of the times, those people they're the hardest to deal with because literally everything is emotion. Now, if you're a manipulator, they're the easiest to deal with because you was already going to go for the emotions. Because what manipulative people do, the first thing a manipulator do when they meet you is poke you, and you don't see it. They emotionally poke you, or depending on the environment y'all in, they may have already seen your emotions and actions to kind of do that litmus test. Because since people so emotionally reactive these days, if you're around the person when they're in line, if you're around the person when it's an inconvenience, when you're around the person when they have to read something, when you're around the person seeing all of them different moments, you're gonna see the emotion. Emotional people will sit down, then they'll start to read. You can tell they're struggling to read because then they start to rock the paper. Like it's too, baby. Look, if this is something I do for a long periodically time, y'all can learn a lot from me. And it's not even to teach you to do these things because people who do these things already know how to do it. That's the problem. This is to teach you to be aware when it's being done to you. Now, whatever you choose to do with that information, that's on you because everything has consequences. Everything. Everything. That's why anything I've ever done in my past, I stood on it because I was very aware of the consequences that were to lead up to that. The action mattered to me more than whatever came with it. And that's a part of future thinking. But I think that that's a part of being emotional too. Emotions are present. You can't think about the future emotionally. Like a person can manipulate you with the future presently, but you can't think about the future emotionally because the emotions are only about things that you've experienced and things that you are experiencing. Like you can get excitement and anticipation, but you can't have an actual response to something that hasn't happened yet. You can have fear that it might happen, anxiety that it might happen, but the hurt from trauma is because it happened and it can't be changed. That's why trauma hits so hard because it ain't no backspace. Like, you know, I don't think anybody would be traumatized by something that they stopped from happening. Like if you almost broke your favorite watch, I don't think you traumatized if it never happened and you protected it and then you caught on. So part three is the accountability gap. Instead of asking who can I complain to, ask who can actually solve the problem. This can be used in any situation. This could be used personally, this can be used in business, this could be used legally, this could be used in anything. Instead of asking who can actually solve a problem, many people default to complaining to those who have no ability to change the situation. I see it all of the time on neighborhood app. That's why I really don't use them apps because it's too close to social media with all of that random rambling, people being disrespectful to each other. We're all grown adults, I imagine. Hopefully there's no minors having to raise families, but we're all adults, and a person, a part of our community saying something, rather than answering them if it's a question and just moving on, people be feeling the need to just go extra and be rude to them. But then on the flip side, a lot of the questions people be asking on these apps, if it really is a city issue, you can literally go to the city website and contact the city directly. But I would never, like, if a person still do that, like, you don't have to be rude to them. Like, all this rudeness and stuff, like, everybody swear they the realist and everybody swear they so kind and nobody does for them what they do for people. But you people online are very rude, like quick to be rude for no reason. Even if it's a topic of a person you like, you really, I don't know where y'all was raised at or whatever, or what type of life y'all experience, but you don't get to just be playing with people because you don't like stuff that they said. And like the fact that y'all be spending so much time on these interactions is very strange to me. That's why I believe majority of people bots, because there's no way that y'all real people doing this. But if y'all are, y'all those people that be in public that never look up from their phone, that be running into the walls, be having car accidents, be leaving stuff at the gym, be picking up the wrong order at takeout. Like, that's y'all. That makes sense now. And psychologist Julian Rotter described the concept called locus of control. People with an internal locus of control believe their actions influence outcomes. People with an external locus of control believe life mostly happens to them. I got to throw that back. People with an external locus of control believe life mostly happens to them. So that's the people who they knew the winter was coming. They never got their tires done. And then on the first day of a freeze, it's a flat tire. And the first thing they say is the double busy. Like, it's not my neglect of my tires, my neglect of my vehicle, my neglect of whatever caused this. And the problem there is that you never grow from it. We only grow from things we accept that we done. That's why people go crazy when they take responsibility for stuff that they didn't do, because your brain doesn't have nothing to grow from. Your brain is essentially trying to latch on and see, okay, what was the thing we did? And if you blaming yourself for your parents' divorce, your brain never finds the thing that you did. But when it comes to things that we actually do, like neglecting our vehicles, neglecting y'all children, because I don't play with kids, neglecting y'all children, neglecting your relationship, neglecting your friendship. Because there's a lot of people that be neglecting friendships out there that really will never admit to those things because everything is always everybody else, or being a horrible parent to your child, or using religion to justify your unwarranted hate for people, but you don't even live that same religion. You don't follow that same religion when it comes to everything else. Like, it's a lot of that going on. And research consistently shows that individuals with an internal locus of control experience higher achievement and greater resilience. And locus of control looks like the word locust, like the bug, except it don't have a T. So let me see if I can put this up here somewhere. Internal locus of control. And they're like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Add item. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, like, uh, this card, it's like a lot of people see people who achieve and always want to know what did they do. And it's like, it's literally just taking responsibility of stuff. For me, I took responsibility of stuff that wasn't even mine. And I found that also turned the tide as well. I'm about to make a background that's gonna show that word because that's a very important word. Internal locus of control. It's crazy how many different words we have out there that sound the same that people just barely use. I think we should have just had a word limit because, okay, I like that one. Let me see. Remove. See, if I really was No, don't do that. Okay, see, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of typo soul, and that's really what it is. But see, the thing that I think, and this is just me making a wild assumption based off of things I've seen. I believe that a lot of these phrases don't hit because people just use them so much. And then a lot of the times, some of the biggest hypocrites we know be the one who know all of the positive phrases, even though they don't realize, like, it's not about you, bro. And then generational blame. That's something that's just never, like, all of these things are never going to stop. You just have to know that you can step away from it. Like, you're not trying to stop the machine, you're trying to get out of the machine. That's all it is. Like, what people mess up is that they immediately think that they can stop the machine. No. You really can't. And I mean, honestly, why would you? Because if you stop the machine that you noticing now, when you're gonna realize it's transformers in this bitch. Like, you, if you want to spend your life being a vigilante trying to break systems that outlasted generations of people and lineages and nations and languages, have fun with that. That would be a great autobiography. Each generation tends to criticize the next, yet many of the behaviors being criticized are simply cycles repeating themselves. Maturity requires the ability to step outside that cycle and ask a difficult question. Which belief or habits were inherited that may actually be harmful? Breaking cycles begins with awareness. Baby, I have always never understood generational blame. Emotionally, you can definitely make statements about older people or younger people if it's due to something like bad driving or, just something in the moment type thing. But the fact that people literally really believe these things that they say, like, if they didn't influence it, like, I'm I'm old and young enough to have witnessed newborn children make it to adult stage. And I've witnessed that in common situations of people who don't have control of their offspring, they literally spent the offspring childhood trying to get them away from them, either with distractions, giving them away to people, neglecting them, leaving them places, like everything. Like, I've seen people in my clubbing days leave. Well, I didn't know at the time, but would later find out because that's an old story time video on here of people leaving their kids at home to go to the club or leaving their kids at home to go to the store, and it's like 2 and 3 olds because people really just children to a lot of people are like dogs and cats. Like, the way that dogs and cats have emotional systems similar to humans, and if you just treat them with respect, like you will want to be treated with respect, you would actually have a good experience. A lot of people don't realize that part. So what they do is they get dogs and cats and just leave them outside, and then wonder why they mess up the house, or just do all kinds of things. They never learn about them. And people do the same thing with children. They never learn about children. They do the same typical things. For boys, you better not be gay. For girls, you better not be a whore. Like, they focus on the most random things instead of making sure that above all your child have morals. But then you can't teach something you don't have because these broken people are from broken homes, and broken homes is not always a single mother. Broken homes is exactly that, a home that's broken. You can have a home with two parents that's broken. You can have a home with four parents that's broken. You can have a whole football team. Well, y'all just say, okay, you know what? We're going to all live as a village, and all of the football players and their families are going to raise each other together, so we can just build the most ethical football team ever. Like, still, and the reality is, the world contains so much beauty, but it also has a lot of ugliness. Nature is peaceful and the universe follows predictive laws, but human beings are more complicated. When interacting with other people, we often do not know their intentions, emotional stability, or moral boundaries. Psychological research shows humans are capable of both remarkable kindness and extreme harm. Maturity requires balancing optimism with realistic awareness, because being kind is a choice, people. Being what y'all would consider evil, wrong, whatever, that's a choice as well. Everything we do is a choice. We don't just make one choice and then it just sticks. We make choices every day. So a person who saved your life last week, that could have been the one good choice he made that whole month. He could have went on a whole spree of, if you know what I'm talking about, of sending people to the after free. Like, so it's, and it's so easy for us to get caught up in the fictional part of life of thinking good people, bad guy, villain, the man, all of these different things. And if you notice, the people who passionately say those things, their life never changed. Like, they swear they know who the enemy is, but you never defeated it. Like, okay, whatever. When immaturity protects harmful behavior. Another pattern occurs when immature thinking unintentionally protects harmful behavior. Instead of asking how a harmful situation could have been prevented, social media, baby, heavily on social media. Instead of asking, and that's why I put this in here, instead of asking how a harmful situation could have been prevented, discussions sometimes shift towards blaming the victim. This often stems from hindsight bias, the tendency to believe events were predictable after they occur. Mature thinking focuses not on blame, but on prevention. Let's take a deep breath. And I promise I chew gum all day and floss and everything else. So that was a minty breath you just smelled. But hindsight bias is ravaging society. When I tell you, I have seen some of the most horrific articles or horrific whistleblowing stories of people detailing horrific things, and the first thing people would think to reply is, did you call the police, or you should have did this, or you should have did that. But that was before I was a part of the real reality and realized that patterns tell everything. If a person tells you they want to get to know you, but their patterns show that they're wasting your time, if you choose to believe the person, they're going to continue to waste your time. If you choose to believe the patterns and you take action based off the patterns, the consistent patterns, consistently wasted your time, then no more time will be wasted. If you have toxic family members who have told you they loved you since childhood, but every chance they get, they destroy you, they steal from you, they lie on you, they have you in gossip and mess, and all of these things causes you stress. Now you're bloated, pH balance off, gaining weight, emotional eating, emotional shopping. We wonder why you always have money issues, even though you have one of the best budgeting apps in the world, and you save money and you do everything right. It's like these things connect together. They definitely do. So hindsight bias is just something that when people hear you saying something, they tell you what you should have did, instead of focusing on the fact that what happened to you is something that can happen to anyone, and often ends up happening to anyone. And action steps. Oh, this is the part right here. For modern dating reality, hundreds of millions of people use dating apps worldwide. Okay, so here I'm going to segue from what I was ranting about, and I really wish it would stop just going big like that. Like, bruh, don't do that to me. This is actually something I saw a while ago. Well, it was one article, and then when I went to find it again, see, it's a bunch of articles. This was the one right here. and you can see the website information. I really wouldn't even post a link because all you have to do is just go to Google News and type in relationship scams. So in the world, this article is basically about 1.14 billion lost to romance scams in 2023. And I'm going to skim through because if y'all want a sustained silent reading channel, I wouldn't mind doing that. I'll make videos where I'll read to y'all and do the different accents and stuff. But let's see here in the world. According to Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, if y'all ever experience any scams online, y'all could report it to them too, ftc.gov. Americans lost 1.14 billion to romance scams, with scammers increasingly utilizing dating apps, social media, and emails to create elaborate facades. Small business owners must remain vigilant, not just in their personal lives, but also in ensuring that their enterprise remains secure from financial deception. Chase recently highlighted crucial precautions to help prevent falling victim to these schemes, providing essential insights. Okay, first recommendation: limit social media connections to people you know. This is going to be a hard one because a lot of people online find the ease of communicating with other people in shared spaces of, maybe niche spaces like artists or content creators, things like that. Those reluctant to transition from online chats to in-person meetings should be treated with caution. Protecting personal and financial information is paramount. Blocking texts and calls from unrecognized numbers can ensure safety. That's hilarious though, because when I began social media in the 1900s, wait, was it? No, it was the 2005s, but in the 1900s, just to sound dramatic, I was quick to make friends off the internet. Like, that's funny. And it's funny because a lot of people would always be like, are you a real person? You're just too nice. That's what happens when you raise without boundaries. In the realm of business, verifying identities is equally critical. Scammers frequently use deceptive tactics to manipulate. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Manipulate. If a connection on a professional networking site has a scant photo or avoids video calls, which in this context, scant more than likely means barely sufficient or inadequate. That's those pictures that be looking like they were taken 20 years ago. It's time to reconsider sharing sensitive information. Understanding the identity of your contacts isn't just a personal safety measure, it is a fundamental business practice. If someone moves too fast or showers you with intense affection early on, pause and consider why. Manipulation. That's them pulling on your emotional leash. If you're someone that wears your emotions on your sleeve, like, that's very dangerous. I get that people who have explosive emotions, they feel like, shiver me timbers, no one's going to play with me. But baby, I love it for y'all, because the people who behave in that manner, they typically very toxic. Anyways, for small business owners, understanding the implications of these scams extend beyond personal safety. First of all, this is why self-awareness is multi-layered, because if you don't know that the world sees you as somebody who have money, or the fact that your vehicle is a certain type of vehicle and it begs a certain type of attention, you're not going to realize when people are talking to you in a different environment. Like, for instance, if you're a business owner, you think about your business and protecting your business when you at work, or if you're dealing with business clients, or if you have a business phone or a business device, you think about protection then. But if a person randomly talking to you in the fruit aisle are randomly talking to you in the gym because they see you every day. You're not thinking that that person could be somebody that's trying to infiltrate your inner circle to get access to your house, to put some spyware on your Wi-Fi, and then end up getting all of your business credentials and then wiring your money to an account overseas. You would never even know they did it. Anyways, so additionally, Chase invites small business owners to explore online resources designed for financial protection. I, as always, will link all of those things at the bottom as far as for mental health, for information. This is one from last year. Victims of romance scams turn to Congress for help. Maybe if that's a video, it's about to get paused because wait, not only did I not pause it, I played it. 4 years after getting divorced, blah blah blah. She found luck meeting people online. Richard was so she met a man named Richard. Oh wait, this. So she thought she'll try it. Eventually, she met someone who appeared to be her perfect match. Richard, who claimed to be a French project manager for a construction company, began texting and talking on the phone constantly with Highland. But Richard wasn't who he said he was. Highland just didn't know yet, and her story and hundreds like it would soon inspire federal legislation in Congress. Now that's reverse. It says her story and how many hundreds like it, and who would it inspire? Federal legislation. See, this is a random lesson that has nothing to do with this video. These people are victims of something that's common, right? You see that, right? Who did it inspire? Federal legislation in Congress. That means that they bought it to who? Federal legislation in Congress. A lot of you people are living y'all lives like street dudes, and y'all ain't street dudes. Y'all don't speak up. Y'all look at whistleblowing as snitching. Y'all look at lawsuits as money grabs. But when it comes to legalities and protections against a lot of the things, creating a paper trail, creating a scene with the right people, creating precedents in the legal system. This is how things change. Majority of the laws we have now that protect us from certain things are a result of either criminal civil cases, public outcries. Like, yes, there is corruption and our government is full of lust and ready to bust. However, there are tried and true systems that still work outside of the negativity we see. And us as people cannot let all of the negativity we see throw away our power that we can do to maintain the positivity there. So continuing on, a bunch of senators, you can see their name right there, have introduced a bill that will require dating apps and social media companies to remove or flag scammers from their platforms and issue notifications to users who interact with those accounts. Matter of fact, I don't even want to read no more of this because this is something. So just from these stories getting to Congress, these people in Congress have introduced a bill that will require dating apps and social media companies to remove or flag scammers from their platforms. Do y'all not see that? A bill. So for all my people out here who constantly have issues with grocery store prices, with people in local areas who have problems with the streets, the infrastructure, do you see the power of one voice? Like all of this back and forth and different sides and petty BS that keeps y'all divided in little mini wars everywhere, little fires everywhere. You could become a unified blaze when it comes to we all believe in different things, but all of us won't keep our children safe. So if it's a million of us that won't keep our children safe, and that's the one issue we have in common, put all that stuff aside, and that a million people become a big old fist, and that'll happen. and do that issue by issue. But we don't know how to do that because we don't have emotional maturity. We have people that think they better than each other, and they don't really think they better than each other. That's the falsest thing that we could ever sell. That be shame that be being projected. People who actually are in a better place know that them being in a better place doesn't make them better than people. It just means that they're viewing things with different lenses because their mental and emotional is in a different place, and they're able to absorb the things of this world differently than people who head and mental are in a different place. So yeah, so that's that for that. As far as the dating scams and romance scam victims warns others to be vigilant. The celebrity started asking, oh, so she got hit with one of the celebrity people. I'm gonna leave. Wait, is that big enough? That should be. But this is very common. Romance scams. A lot of people who are on or will be on Medicare, there are hundreds of scammers that target those people every day. And they've gotten so good that they can even appear to be some of the insurance companies sometimes. It's scams at every level. So whether you're not a victim, whether you caught it and you didn't become a victim, the sad part is for people who immediately flood the comments with negativity, you just stopped other people from speaking up. It may be a person who want to speak up on something completely unrelated, and it could be somebody being done something by a politician or a celebrity or something that could really blow it out the water. And y'all bully and be so rude and nasty to people to where people who already ashamed of themselves, because people who experience scams or harm, they always feel shame. They blame themselves. So the people who have experienced similar things and experience blaming themselves, turning around and blaming the person, knowing that that's only going to, it's just humanity is cute to me. So either you're going to be a person who respect that things come and go, you can change what you can, you can't what you can. People going to be with who they want to be. And when you want to be a community, you willing to respect other people's differences and not always try to force yourself on people, because I notice a lot of people in society don't know how to just be cool. You got to be best friends. You got to be this. You got to be that. They got to call you every day. They got to see you every day. They want you to invite them like y'all are obsessive compulsive, and it's cute until it's not. It's cute until it becomes an obsessive thing to where people become angry when they don't have access to you. They become demanding, controlling, triangulators to where they try to destroy or alter your connections with other people. So that's that. But back to the maturity thing, because the modern dating thing was about to take me through the romance scam statistics. Cost billions each year. How scammers build trust, and this is across the board. They have real estate scams, they have rental scams, they have job scams. They always start with friendly conversation, emotional connection, financial requests. But a lot of the times too, they use urgency. They make you feel like whatever they're offering is not going to last long, or if it's somebody scamming you saying that they need help, they'll position it like whatever they need help with, it's an emergency. Like, if you don't help me now, I'm gonna drown. No, some scammers push fake cryptocurrency investment platforms. Honestly, though, scamming, that's an opinion level word, because the act of scamming is the act of scamming. But what people consider scams and all of that, same as cults and all of these other words, case by case basis. Like, you have your actual scams that are actually scams, well, when the person's intentions was to completely defraud you and you get nothing in return. But then there are situations where maybe people feel like what people give to a content creator or to a business versus what they receive could be seen as a scam. But what I will say about investments, it's never gonna stop. Never gonna stop. As long as you have people who chasing materialistic things, who money is never enough for them. Their life is never enough for them. They never can say, okay, I'm a regular person. Maybe I should just have a house for me and my wife, or and a guest house for my grandkids, or get me two double wides and 50 acres of land in Mississippi and have a farm. Like, instead of having actual realistic goals for real people, for some reason everyone wants to be just super rich person. They want to be the richest person alive, even though why they currently are someone who has constantly had money coming and going out of their life, they can't keep it. Like, they literally throw it away and then want it to come back. Like, it's like me being hungry, and every time people ask me what I want to eat, I ask them for snacks, and people give me what I want, but then I'm always hungry. So now you have 20 people giving me little Debbie cakes when all I really needed was one person to give me a pot roast. But that was a bad example. That'll lose people. But hey, get lost sometimes. It builds character. Red flags of a scammer: refuses video calls, avoids meeting in person, asks for money. Not That's more for dating scams, because baby, scammers nowadays, they'll talk on the video, they'll meet in person, and they'll ask for money. Crypto investment scams: some scammers push fake cryptocurrency investment platforms. But all of this stuff, again, they're pulling at your emotional and your lack of intellect, because some scammers are so good with emotional control, you will know what they telling you is not possible, but they would have emotionally got you right there to where you still just be like, okay, let's just try it. Let's see if it works. Maybe I'll be the exception. Because we all the exception. No texting and driving, but baby, I'm a text and drive, not me. Y'all gonna text and drive and be swerving and hitting potholes and having accidents, and be able to look at somebody else texting and driving and be like, y'all need to stop texting and driving, because your texting and driving ain't bad. It's theirs. You're the exception. It's a lot of y'all. Why did it repeat? Protect yourself online. Never send money. It's too late for that, huh? Verify identities. Not really. Move slowly. That's good starts, but know yourself emotionally. The safest thing you could do is fortify yourself. Like, legit get the help you need, because what happens, I know we do it with weight loss. I know we do it with saving money. I'm gonna join the gym next month. I'm gonna start walking every day. I'm gonna start saving money. I'm gonna stop going out. We do that with that, and that's understandable, because peer pressure is a bitch sometimes. But doing it with mental health is so dangerous. That's like knowing your windshield is gone and you're gonna continue on the road with buku bugs and all kind of other stuff going 100 miles per hour, hoping for the best that your sunglasses could protect you from bugs hitting your glasses at 100 miles per hour. When we know we need mental health or we mentally weak, we do not need to be around people that's dangerous. Do y'all not notice when animals are weak, they get away from everybody? When animals are dying, they go somewhere and hide and die. Like, humans, the only dummies that are hurting and then immediately immerse themselves around people who could benefit from their hurt. So naivety as aware versus awareness. Kindness without awareness can be exploited. Take it from me. Like, I spent half my whole life, really, because it's only been a few years of really being into personal development and understanding that this is a forever journey, and that I'm never going to know everything, and that life is, my controllables are in my control, but things that I didn't create are, whatever is not in my control. So, but for me, I overextended kindness a lot. But that the beauty in that is that it showed me a lot about people. Because what people don't have to understand, even though I was not living in reality, I have always been fully aware, hyper aware even, of everything going on around me, of every pattern, of every change, of the changes in voice tone, of the shifts in behaviors, of the little pauses in responses to stuff, or the different body language when other people are around, which signals that the people been just was dragging for your ass. Like, I've been seeing all of that, and I've had enough evidence each time to know what I suspected was true. without having to ask people, because one thing people gonna do is lie and gaslight. And one thing a lot of people do, especially people pleasers, they will fight and tooth and nail to maintain a certain image to the public. They don't care what they do to you in private. If you are connected to a people pleaser, if it's them doing right by you versus them keeping a certain image, they're going to pick the image over you. And that's the reality of it. People disagree with those things. And then you have the smaller minded people who make the generic responses like, oh, that's so negative. Oh, it's not everyone. Yeah, of course, asshole. Nobody said it was everyone. It's just the realistic realization that the environments we frequent, us being similar people to where we all share spaces online, in person, and sometimes on social media, like we run into each other. So if we're highlighting that a behavior is prevalent in a certain environment, that's not being negative. Like if you want to be negative, negative is saying, oh, all you mother, like that's negative. And even then, it's whatever you make it. But you're not gonna make what I make and make me change my take. So emotional reactivity. Maturity means pausing before reacting. Honestly though, emotional reactivity and maturity is you knowing when you dealing with an emotional person. Baby, it comes the time you already know. You already know. Baby, like when I tell you, it's not even the fact that you knowing everything. It's kind of like a tree. If our houses are a certain height, right? And we have a tree that we planted when we first built the house. But that same tree just keep growing, but the houses don't grow. If that tree make it to 100 feet in the air, that tree is going to see everything around it. Does that make the tree a bad person because it sees everything around it and it grew and the houses didn't grow? So like when it comes to us, does it make us horrible people if we call in what we see because we that tree and everybody else still at 20 feet? Like no, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And when you get to that level, when you become that 100-foot tree, you notice to just shut the hell up. Like honestly, shut the hell up, because people is not like, just really watch people. If you really watch people, like how we always quick to respond to what people telling us. If you watch them, like if you have a friend that come to you today and say they got into it with their coworker, if you just give the support as a friend, you be genuine, you're not being judgmental, you're observing, you're picking up patterns. So if you count a chicken crossing the road 3 times, that's not you bullying the chicken because you said, hey, you just crossed the road 3 times. That's an observation, that's a fact. Now if you add personal opinion in it, like, oh, you weird ass chicken keep running across the road 3 times and all this other stuff, that's extra, that's seasoning. But just an observation of my friend always getting into it with people at work, and it's never their fault, it's always her fault, but it's always regarding rules that she keep breaking, and she feel like, oh, well, other people could break them, but so it's like, but she don't understand the fact that you're still breaking the rule, even though yes, it's unfair that the treatment is not across the board, but you're still breaking the rule. Why are you going back and forth about a rule you're breaking? And that's just an example that could be cross fit into anything. People love doing that. Like, and honestly, people who grow end up stuck around people like that, and they keep pushing their growth back because they don't want to lose these type of people, because that's all they see. And they're like, shit, if I grow, I'm gonna be the 100-foot tree with just nothing around me. Not realizing it's a whole forest. Y'all just in the grass. It's a forest. Once you continue growing and you become a tree from the forest, you see that it's other trees. It was scary at first, you know. That's kind of like going out of space. You have your moments where it's nothing at all, and then next thing you know, shine bright like a diamond, shine bright like a diamond. Ask yourself daily, what triggered my reactions today? I definitely do this, but what I will say about the initial stages of self awareness, it is easy to slip from being self-aware to being self-obsessed, to overly editing yourself, to overly trying to adjust how you appear to people. That is the most challenging part about awareness, where people get lost, and it's kind of like driving over a foggy bridge that has no rails. It's a bridge that you always heard people had to cross to get to the journey of self-awareness, the highway of self-awareness. But a lot of people, they get the swerving and they swerve right off the road. You have to go slow, take steps, remove shame. It's a lot of things you got to remove when you're dealing with self-awareness. You have to remove shame. Shame is not tolerated. Like when it comes to things you have done, you are realizing that in the present moment, I would assume that you're not currently doing the things you've done, which means that from that moment going forward, if you never did those things again, that'll just be your past. So you don't have to keep carrying your past. Now, for people who have crimes and issues involving other people, baby, case by case basis. We can't bucket that together and just say, because each situation is different depending on what you did, who you did it to, how you fixed it, whatever. But when it comes to situations that's victimless crimes to ourselves or to our growth or things like that, you know, we should always be learning and growing from it. And also trying to review things we've done in the past and compare to how we would have handled it now and seeing a difference in it. And relationship growth. Not every connection lasts forever. Most connections don't last forever. Honestly, a lot of people would have a lot of less friendship fallouts if you just let them go to the friendship afterlife. Like there is a friendship afterlife where the friendship never dies. The person just becomes a friendship hall of fame where it's always forever good memories with them because y'all did have a moment that y'all connected versus trying to keep that same connection for the rest of y'all lives and having resentment every time it's a break in that connection. Not understanding that we all, as much as we love everybody we grew up with, we know, could related to, belated to, donated to, everything. We have to understand we all have different chemicals that make us who we are. Like our personalities is a mixture of our parents, our environments, our experiences, our upbringings. So people we close to, unless we live in very symmetrical lives, we're going to be experienced and put in different directions. We just have to learn when to let go of each other's hand. Like letting each other's hand go is not pushing each other off the cliff. But what ends up happening is people don't let the hand go, and then the elevations start to change, and now somebody's arm is getting pulled because one of y'all going up, one of y'all going down, or both of y'all going up, but going separate, one going left, one going right. And it's honestly letting go. Letting go is as hard as you make it, and is as easy as you make it, and always harder and easy in things that when it comes to us as people is why life's so hard. Everything don't need a difficulty level. Just get the shit done. Like honestly. And I really blame all of the negativity that people partake in because if you constantly having negative thoughts about other people, that means your whole perception has to be that negative for you to constantly be able to see negativity that often and that frequent. Like it ain't like you got to be overly optimistic about stuff and try to overly compliment things that's clearly hideous. But for example, when it comes to things that's meant for a certain intention, like if it's a video that's meant to cheer people up, if you able to be that negative to be commenting something negative under a video like that or saying something rude or pointing out stupid stuff like oh her wig is slipping, petty stuff like that, and not appreciate the overall message, that's what I mean. And benefits of maturity: better relationships, fewer but better decision making, and less conflict because you're not going back and forth with people. The whole part about conflict, when they say pick your battles, what is this battle? Like if you owe me something or if you breach the contract, the battle gonna be me suing you. It's not gonna be me going back and forth with you because you already made the decision to snake me. So what is me barking at you gonna do? Like, and for me, I have a fulfilled life, so I'm not gonna get street justice. If it was street justice, the justice just would have been got. It wouldn't have been nothing to talk about. But for and realistic optimism. The world is beautiful. Awareness protects us. Final message. Growth begins when we ask, what can I learn from this? And I'm gonna just end it here. Y'all have a good one.
Like, comment, and subscribe to J New Orleans.